Good evening, YTPC. Saw Gunner here. Today's November 1st. So yesterday was Halloween. And tomorrow, November 2nd, is El Día de los Muertos, or the Day of the Dead in Mexico. So, in keeping with the season, thought I'd get on here and tell you guys some spooky stories. So first things first, housekeeping. Peterson, Sherlock Holmes Handsome with Cornell and Deal's Star of the East ribbon cut. Good stuff. With some Scotch whiskey, neat. With a beer chaser. So I wanted to kind of share with you guys two spooky stories that happened to me that are true. One happened over 20 years ago, and the other one just this past summer. Now let me preface this by saying I don't know if I really believe in ghosts and supernatural, all that kind of stuff. I mean, weird things happen, sure. But I don't know. It could be we live in one dimension and occasionally we bump up against another dimension and we kind of coexist at the same moment. Who knows? Anywho, the first one happened over 20 years ago. My wife is from a small farming town in the state of Tlaxcala, Mexico, which is, it's about an hour outside of Mexico City. And we usually go there once a year, sometimes more. Beautiful small farm town in the Valle de Mexico. And well, you know, her mother was still alive, may she rest in peace. We would stay at her house there. And this was the first time that we stayed at her house. And like I said, this is just a small farmhouse way out in the country. And so we get there, and so my wife and I are assigned to the room at the back of the house. And, you know, it gets late, so we go to bed, and, you know, my wife and I we're both in bed, and I'm just, you know, kind of in that moment where I'm just kind of drifting off to sleep. When all of a sudden, I felt an arm reach around me and hug me. It was a pretty tight hug. And so I thought, well, it's my wife. So, I was laying on my side facing the door. So I turn over to give her a hug and a kiss, but her back was to me and she was sound asleep. So basically when that happened, we were pretty much back. My back was facing her back. So it would have been impossible for her to have done that, to have reached around and hugged me. Because her back was towards me and she was sound asleep. So needless to say, I didn't sleep a wink that night. I was just all night. So the next morning I told my wife what happened, and she's like, oh yeah, the ghost that hugs people, it hugged you. I'm like, oh, you know about this? Oh yeah, I'm like, oh, and you didn't think to tell me this before we went back there? So, needless to say, that was the last night I spent in that room. Now, the next story takes place just this past summer. So in June, some strange events started taking place around my house. It started one evening after dinner. I was sitting on my front porch, smoking a pipe. And I'm just sitting there enjoying the evening breeze, enjoying my pipe. It was a still night. There was no wind or anything. It was just a calm, still evening. So I'm sitting there in my rocking chair, with my pipe, just chilling. All of a sudden, my dog's metal water bowl starts doing this all by itself. I wasn't drunk. I hadn't even been drinking. In fact, I think I was having a cup of tea at the time. So it just started wobbling all by itself. And it stopped. Now, it wasn't the wind, because that was a metal bowl. So any breeze wouldn't have been strong enough to make the bowl wobble like that. Needless to say, I was kind of freaked out a bit. And then, a couple days later, now here in my man cave, I keep a plate on the coffee table that's where I empty my pipe ash into. And so it was after breakfast. I was smoking a pipe. Excuse me. And my wife says, hey, we need to go to the market and get some things. So I'm like, all right. Well, I hadn't emptied that plate of ashes. So I was smoking a pipe the evening before, and then my morning pipe. So all that ash was on the plate. So we left, went to the market, got her, groceries and sundries. I came back. I came back here to my man cave, and that plate was turned over, and all the ashes were just spilled out all over the coffee table. No way. My wife and I live alone. So there was no way that could have just happened by accident. That kind of freaked me out a bit. I'm like, what the hell? And then another evening, I was in the kitchen, and I felt something tug on the back of my shirt. You know, like when you come up behind someone, you kind of get their attention, you like tug on their, like a little kid does. So, daddy, daddy, tug on your shirt. That's what it was, like a tug on my shirt. That just totally, whoa, By this time, I'm kind of starting to just become uneasy in my own home. It was getting to the point I couldn't even sleep at night. I was like, sir, what the hell's going on here, Well, then, my wife and I went on vacation. We flew to Mexico City and, went back to her, town. So we were in that surrounding area. We spent like 2 months. In fact, we even went to Cancun and Chetumal and Bacalar, further into the, so we just had a good summer vacation. Well, anyway, I have security cameras around my house. I have one in the driveway that's facing towards the back, and I have another one on my patio. And then while we were gone, my wife's son set up a security camera in the living room on the TV stand facing out, looking outward. And he had it where it would rotate. So the camera would rotate. I could basically see, the whole living room, dining room, kitchen. Well, while we were gone, my stepson's wife called us and said, last night about 2 a.m, your dogs just went berserk, barking and carrying on. And, we got up, and because they live right behind us. Like, we got up, we looked over your fence, we didn't, nothing was out of the ordinary. But then she said, but then I checked your security camera. And she sent us a video clip. If I was tech savvy enough, which I'm not, folks, I'm an infantryman and a gunner. So all I know how to do is shoot stuff and blow shit up. But if I was more tech savvy, I would be able to incorporate a clip of that into this video, but I can't. Well, anyway, she sent us the video clip, and you can see this like purple, lavender color orb floating around the driveway. And then it jumps up and goes over the wall for a bit, and then it comes back, starts floating around some more, and then just takes off. Well, let me tell you, that was weird. Then about a week later, my wife's son sends us another video clip. Apparently there was, this time, a white orb floating around in the living room. And it stopped and hovered like at my spot on the couch, facing my TV. I'm like, that son of a bitch better not be watching my TV and drinking my whiskey. And the thing is, this is a new house. My wife and I built this house. So it's not like some ghost could be here. I mean, nothing ever happened here. It's a brand new house. So by this time, not so much scared. I'm really at this point starting to get annoyed. I'm thinking to myself, dude, I don't want some damn ghost or whatever the hell it is terrorizing my house. So, like I said, we were gone for about 2 months. So when I got home, I walked into the house and I just said in a loud voice, not angry or upset, I just said, I want to live in peace in my house. That was it. Ever since then, we got home back in August. Knock on wood. All quiet on the Western Front, as they say. So that was the end of that. Thank God. Well, gang, I just wanted to spend some time with you guys, my smoking buddies, and share some scary stories with you. Interesting stories, anyway. And you guys have a good night. And, you know, enjoy your pipes and your tobaccos and your beverages, whatever they may be. All right, guys, have a good night. Bye-bye.